So we'll get to the Bears here. We'll do so with somebody from the family. 670 The Score out in Chicago. Laurence Holmes covers the Bears, and he's with us here on Tiki and Tierney. So, Laurence, I think you'll appreciate the analogy. You know when you would go to a bowling alley and you had the little bumpers up for the kids so they don't throw it in the gutter?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well,
Sometimes with adults, you can't go.
yeah, if you drink it, I hear you. I feel like Adam Gase was the bumper that kept Jay Cutler out of the gutter in terms of throwing picks and being sloppy. How is Jay gonna be without him?
Well, they're going to move in Dow Loggins, who was the quarterback coach last year. They have a good relationship. Loggins was a quarterback in Arkansas when Jay was at Vanderbilt, so they've known each other for a long time. It's one of the guys that he's always kind of talked to throughout his career. He likes him. The question is, can he call plays? I don't know if Dow Loggins can call plays, and the Bears don't either. But we're going to get an opportunity to see it. John Fox kind of bristled at the idea that the offense was going to break down just because Adam Gase left. And there's good reason behind that. If you look at John Fox's track record of hiring coordinators, he hires really good, smart coordinators. So he thinks that he's found another one with Dow Loggins. The hope is that they can get the same type of sensible and solid quarterback play out of Jay Cutler that they got last year. I honestly think that that's made more difficult because if you look at what's happened in the last 3 years with the Bears, they've lost Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett, and I think maybe most importantly, Matt Forte from their offense. And they're kind of starting over there from an offensive standpoint. And now their center, the guy they had penciled in as a starter at center, Hronis Grasu, is out with an ACL injury, and they weren't even sure that he was going to be able to hold on to the job. So there's still plenty of questions about that Bears offense.
Yeah, no, it sounds like. And the question about the receiving core, the questions about the receiving core are the ones that we really should be asking, especially because Kevin White, who missed all of last year, tries to come back. How does he look, first of all? And then secondly, Alshon Jeffrey, who we kind of want to love. He's on a franchise tag, but still has a ton of upside it seems like he hasn't realized yet.
Let's start with Alshon. Because the reason that he's on the franchise tag is what his career has been for the last couple of years. They didn't want to commit to him long term. So they put him on the tag because they don't know if he's going to be healthy enough. It's been an issue with him. Soft tissue injuries over and over again. Maybe not taking training in the offseason as seriously as he should take it. So this is a question. When it comes to when the games are played, when Alshon is out on the field, he's one of the best receivers in the league. And you look at his per-game stats, he's right up there with the top guys. The problem is the Bears got 9 games out of him last year. So they wanted to protect themselves with the franchise tag, and they didn't want to spend big-time receiver money on him, not knowing if he was going to be available. With Kevin White, he is the athletic, take the top off of a defense wide receiver. What's really interesting is that how the evolution has happened with Alshon Jeffrey, where when he was working with Brandon Marshall, he was kind of the young buck, and Brandon Marshall was the guy that had the crazy catching radius that could make big plays and was using his physicality more. Now that role is kind of reversed, and Alshon becomes the Brandon Marshall type, with Kevin White being the guy that's going to run the fly routes and hopefully open things up for you. But Kevin White hasn't been hit in 2 years either.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow night when they have their first preseason game what he's going to look like and how he responds to it. Everyone around the Bears will tell you that leg is fine, that his workouts have been strong, that he looks like the player that they drafted. But it's a different ballgame when you're talking about a guy who had a rod in his leg after surgery and whether or not he's going to be the same type of player once the games start getting real.
No, it's legit concern. I'm with you. Talking to Laurence Holmes, covers the Bears, 670 The Score out in Chicago, part of the CBS family. All right, I don't know how much you've had to fend off, impatient Bears fans. I've had this discussion for years in New York. I believe that big cities, because the notion is out there for some, big cities won't tolerate a rebuild. My position's always been, no, we won't tolerate a hasty, dumb rebuild. And I've talked to Knicks fans about this a lot. Your sense with Bears fans now, after 3 straight, pretty lame years, just 19 wins combined in the last 3, no wins, no seasons over 500. Do you get the impression that Bear fans are galvanized by the rebuild or that they're still reluctant to embrace what's happening?
BT, I'm going to be real honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Bears fans don't care at all about the Bears.
Wow.
The
Come
biggest
on.
story in Chicago right now is the Chicago Cubs. And it speaks to your point about the idea of a rebuild where Cubs fans went through this and now they're bearing the fruit of it. It is amazing. If you look at the attendance drop that the Bears have had at training camp over the last 3 seasons, they finished last in the NFC North the last 2 seasons. It's amazing. John Fox has kind of changed the schedule around, so now the practices are at 9 and 11. When Mark Trestman was here, he had a couple of night practices and afternoon practices. Lovie Smith always made sure that he had night practices. There is a level of meh right now when it comes to the Bears that I haven't seen in my entire career at the Score. I've been at the Score for 18 years, and
Wow.
I've never seen it like this, where it's like, you know what, we'll get to the Bears when we get to the Bears.
Wow.
Because people are so excited about the possibility of the Cubs. They're definitely going to the playoffs. They're definitely going to win their division. And they've seen the Cubs do it in what a lot of fans would describe as the right way, that the Bears are like an afterthought, especially if you start to look at that division and really look. If you really pay attention, you don't even have to squint. But if you really pay attention to it, the Bears are the team with the least amount of talent in the NFC North. They have a defense that doesn't have one Pro Bowl on it. Think about that. The entire Bears defense, no Pro Bowls for anyone on that D.
I got to tell you, man, I'm pretty surprised what I'm hearing. Oh, by the way, you left off one bullet point there, and then the Cubs will definitely not win the World Series. And by the way,
look,
hey, I'm kidding. I'm actually rooting for you guys.
I'm not here to say that because I'm a White Sox fan.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Over on the South
Yeah,
side.
you got your own problems, yeah.
But I mean, between like the summer that's gone on, it's been interesting here because the Cubs ran out to that incredible start.
Yeah.
The White Sox at the trade deadline, people were talking about them maybe trading their best player in Chris Sale. And then the Bulls signed Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
You know, like
forget about this
the
thing.
Bears are kind of like, people are sitting there looking at the Bears going, what am I getting from this in year 2 of John Fox's regime? That's usually when teams make a jump. But I give Bears fans credit. I think they look at it and go, I'm not sure that there's a jump to be made.
Yeah.
Okay, but
for this Bears
I'm sorry,
team.
but that happens. So I just want to be clear. And we're talking to Laurence Holmes from the Score 670, the Score in Chicago. Been there almost 20 years, so he certainly has a lay of the land out there with Chicago sports scene. It seems more. I just want to make sure I'm right with it. It seems more circumstantial given the Cubs run, given D. Wade, and even losing Noah and D. Rose before. So it seems like the Chicago sports fan is preoccupied with the other stuff, but it's not apathy necessarily toward the Bears. It's a different.
No, we're getting real close to apathy.
Wow.
When it comes to the Bears, we're getting close.
What the hell's going on?
I'm not saying that we're
There's
there,
no
but we're
superstar.
getting close.
There's no
And
superstar, right?
The reason why I think honestly is the way the Mark Trestman era ended.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that there's fatigue when it comes to Bears fans trying to either explain or understand Jay Cutler. I think there's a lot of fatigue there.
No, that I can
They've
see.
seen some their favorite players leave. They've seen their most interesting players leave. I mean, I can't even tell you who's playing running back for the Bears at this point. They're probably going to go with a committee, but it's still. I was bothered by the fact that they didn't even offer Matt Forte.
Yeah, no, they didn't even try. And it felt like they were trying to push him out the year before as well, which brings a question about Ryan Pace and what he ultimately will do at the quarterback position. Looking at Jay Cutler's contract, which Phil Emery did before he got bounced, which was ridiculous, $126 million, this is the last year where if he gets cut, the cap hit is very debilitating. It's $19 million in dead money this year. Could Jay Cutler be on his last year in Chicago?
Well, here's the problem. They don't really have a successor. I mean, I guess you can go and draft one, and maybe they'll be in a position to do that, but that restarts the clock too. Is John Fox going to be able to, if John Fox and Ryan Pace going to be able to sell to the Bears fans at that point, in year 3, we're going to start over with a rookie quarterback. I don't know if that is going to be okay. I think that they look at this because now you're right. The contract works in the team's advantage. Now it becomes a series of 1-year deals with Jay Cutler over the next 3 years. So I think that that's one of the reasons, if you're a Bears fan, you can be optimistic that you're going to get a Jay Cutler that is not going to go crazy, that he knows that the money that he'll make on the open market will not come close to what he has waiting for him on these like kind of 1-year deals that are left for him on his Bears deal. So I don't think that you're going to see like crazy gunslinger Jay Cutler. I think you're going to see the same type of dude that he was last year, where it was very solid play. It wasn't a lot of risk taking. But I will say, guys, Jay Cutler deserves a lot of credit for what the Bears offense, as terrible as it was able to do last year. He was throwing to guys that are on the street right now and making touchdown passes to guys that don't belong in the NFL. He made that offense work without Alshon Jeffrey being there for most of the almost half of the games last season. So I give him a lot of credit. I think that he's gotten better in a lot of aspects of his game and his relationship with both Bears fans and Bears media. I've never had a bad interaction with Jay, and I think that sometimes it's overblown how he reacts or body language or anything else. But I don't know where the Bears go outside of the draft, because you guys know how it is.
A lot of questions.
Now, if you've got a great quarterback, you extend them. That person never makes it to free agency.
Hey, very interesting picture you paint, and a good one. So we'll talk to you during the season, I'm sure. For the Bears, Laurence Holmes, 670 the score. Oof. Okay, a little depressing. Be well, buddy. We'll talk to you.
BT, Tiki, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Take care, Lawrence.